Welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Arsenal Kids Podcast. My name is Madi and I'm joined by my co-host Ben. And it is great to have you join us on this episode together.
Yes, hello listeners and welcome to episode number 143.
Thanks, Ben. And what are we talking about on our podcast this time around?
Well, Maddie, in part one, we're going to look at how the men's team, filled with a number of boys, defeated Bolton 5-1 in the third round of the League Cup competition.
And then in part two,
we will focus on how the women's team came from their 1-0 deficit aggregate to win 4-0 against BK Hacken.
Meaning we will be in the Champions League group stage this year.
We will be indeed, and just a quick reminder to you, to help us to grow our Arsenal Kids community and not miss when we've got new episodes, you can do that by telling others about us, liking, reviewing and sharing our podcast with others, or by following us on social media.
We would love for you to join us on this adventure together.
We would indeed, and Maddie, straight to the men's team where Mikel Arteta, our manager, named a heavily rotated squad against our League One opposition in midweek, with Jack Porter starting in goal.
Who, Ben?
Jack Porter.
Again, Ben, can I ask who Jack Porter is?
He is our number 92.
Did you say 92?
I did.
And what position does he play?
He is a goalkeeper.
And how old is he?
16 years and 72 days old.
He's still a kid! He can't be doing that work.
Yep, but with David Raya injured, Neto cup-tied and unable to play in this competition, and number 3, Tommy Setford, also injured, Arteta had no choice but to name our second youngest player to ever participate in a match for us and the youngest ever starter.
Wow. Just wow.
And he wasn't the only teenager in the squad, Maddie, as Josh Nichols, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri also started the game, with 2 other academy players, Maldini Kakuri and Ismail Kabir, also coming on during the game.
Okay, well, tell us what happened in the game.
Sure thing, Maddie. Well, as you can imagine, the relatively strange and young-looking lineup took a few minutes to find their feet, but with experience on the pitch in terms of Raheem Sterling also making his first start for the Gunners, along with Rice, Jorginho, Jesus and Saka, it only took 16 minutes for the Gunners to break the deadlock. As Josh Nichols playing at right back, he crossed into the box. It wasn't properly cleared by the defence, and Declan Rice, quick as a flash, shifted the ball to his right foot and picked out the bottom right-hand corner, making it 1-0 to the Arsenal. We had a few more chances to increase the score, but then Bolton had the ball in the back of the net. But fortunately for Jack Porter in goal, when he glanced across to the sideline official, the flag was raised for offside on this occasion.
And then I guess at some point our lead became more comfortable, Ben?
It did, Maddie. In the 37th minute, Miles Lewis-Skelly found Sterling with a great pass down the left. He timed his run well to stay onside and cross the ball into a very dangerous area. It was just missed by Jesus, but Ethan Nwaneri was on hand in the right spot to tap the ball across the line, making it 2-0 as the teams went into the half-time break. And then, just 4 minutes into the second half, and Bolton had only themselves to blame. When playing out from the back, they gave the ball to Declan Rice, who found Nwaneri again, who tucked it beyond the keeper to make it 3-0.
But the Bolton pulled a goal back.
You are correct, Maddie. With most of the team up for a corner kick, Bolton broke away quickly. And for all his experience, Jorginho, we know, is not the quickest. And the Bolton player one-on-one with Jack Porter rounded the keeper and got a goal back for the visitors. But it didn't take long for us to restore our lead after some great interplay between Sterling and Saka, saw the ball spill to our on-loan signing, who poked it across the line for his first Arsenal goal. Sterling, who had played well throughout the game, then saw another shot spilled, this one falling directly into the path of Kai Havertz, who had come onto the pitch And as the song goes, Kai Havertz scored again, rounding off a comprehensive 5-1 win and putting the team into the draw for the next round.
And who did we draw in the next round?
Well, that draw took place almost immediately after the game, and after some time wasting, they eventually let us know that Arsenal are going to be playing Preston North End from the Championship, and that will be away from home.
And next up for the team, Ben?
Before then, Maddie, next up, we return to Premier League action. We're going to be at the Emirates as we face Leicester City this weekend.
Okay, well, let's leave there for part 1. We'll be right back after this with part number 2. Welcome back, Ben, and let's talk about the women's team who had a Champions League game.
You are correct, Maddie. They were in their round 2 qualifying action, looking to overcome a first leg defeat to BK Hacken, where they had lost mid last week 1-0.
They had it all to do in the second leg.
We did, and head coach Jonas Eidevall made 3 changes from the weekend game against City, with Leah Volti starting her first game of the season and Beth Mead and Alessia Russo also coming into the starting lineup, where it looked tactically that we very much lined up in a traditional 4-4-2 formation.
And we had the first shot on target.
We did, with Mariona letting fly from outside the box, but the keeper comfortably saved. Then not long later, she played a fantastic ball through to Beth Mead, but the keeper made herself big enough and managed to block the close-range effort. After sustained pressure, it was Leah Volti, though, who broke the deadlock after Kim Little, under pressure, slipped the ball out to her from beyond the edge of the box, and she curled it up and over the keeper. And the ball hit the underside of the crossbar before going into the back of the net to level the tie on aggregate.
We then went in search of the all-important second goal.
And we found it through Mariona, who scored her first competitive goal for Arsenal 5 minutes before the break, tapping the ball into the net after some goal-mouth action to make it 2-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate as the teams headed into the mid-game break.
And then it was Mina who put the icing on the cake.
Some great work from Katie McCabe, who put in the initial cross into the box and then was alert to the ball coming back to her. This time, she headed it back into the pressure area inside the penalty box, where Beth Mead did what she does best, producing a bit of magical brilliance, juggling the ball up and over a defender before volleying it into the back of the net in glorious style, making it 3-0 to the Arsenal and sending the home crowd wild.
To keep the energy up, our manager made some substitutions.
And 3 of those substitutes combined to score our 4th goal and truly put the game to bed as Kyra Cooney-Cross drove through the midfield, pushed the ball out wide left to Caitlin Ford, who ran towards the box, placing it perfectly into the path of Frida Mornham, who picked her spot and nestled the ball into the goal, making it 4-0 to the Gunners on the night, 4-1 on aggregate, and it was game over to Hacken, who will be disappointed with their turnout, having done relatively well in their first leg at home. But it means that the Arsenal are into the Champions League group stages for this season.
And who will they be facing then?
Good question, Maddie. The draw, I think, is set to take place sometime tomorrow, and we will let our listeners know who our next year opponents will be when we find out.
And next up for the team, Ben?
You're not going to believe this, Maddie, but just like the weekend past, the men's and women's team are both playing the same opponents. So it is Leicester for the women as well. They are, however, playing away from home at the King Power Stadium in their Super League clash.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up for this episode. Thanks again for joining us on Arsenal Kids Podcast. Boom, boom, boom.
Before we sign off, we want to express our gratitude for your continued support. If you haven't already, follow, like, and subscribe so you don't miss us in the future. Remember, your love for the beautiful game is what fuels our passion.
Well, we would like you to spread the word about Arsenal Kids Podcast.
Yes, please share our podcast with other Arsenal kids you know and help us to grow this amazing community together.
We hope to join you back on the pitch again soon.
Keep the spirit of the game alive, and until next time.
Good